Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is the last Myfuelclub webinar for 2014. Thank you for joining us. We'll be underway in just 1 minute. Got lots of great information to share with you. Having some technical difficulties with this system. It seems to change every week that I use it. And I don't seem to be able to get it to do what I need it to do. Okay, now we're getting closer. Okay. All right, well, let's get started. Thank you for joining us. And I want to share screen. So let's get underway and provide you with some information. All right, so here we are at our website. There's been quite a few additions to the website since the last time we shared a webinar. We have Zcash and Chips Exchange over here, which is rather important for you that have been with me for this past year. You would obviously like to be able to exchange your Zcash, and we're getting closer to that as a reality for each and every one of you, provided you'll come back and do some work with us. This is a working program. It's not an investment. Any member who has been involved with us up until a couple of weeks ago was given a full payment for work rendered, and yet many of you didn't do any work, and yet you still got paid not only for the membership that you had purchased, and some of you didn't even purchase a membership and you even got paid for that, to the tune of 500,000 Zcash. And Zcash is legal tender in the United States. And tonight I'm going to share with you that it's also capable of being created into a promissory note and be legal tender in 60 countries. So we are at the leading edge of victory for being able to use Zcash as normal currency like you would any other type of currency, because it is real currency. We just got to get a lot of people on board, and that's why I really need you to consider coming back to work with Myfuelclub. Now, if you all decide that you don't want to, I'll just shut the club down. You'll have your Zcash, and if you ever decide to use it, let me know. But I think we have the best opportunity on planet Earth here with Myfuelclub to bring people into the Internet Catalog Club's protocols on how not to be in debt. And I think 2015 is a year that we should be able to teach each and every person we touch how not to be involved in debt, but rather to be involved in abundance. And that's what Myfuelclub is all about. People say that we're a Ponzi. How can you be a Ponzi when you just received 500,000 Zcash and some of you didn't even pay any money? Well, Zcash is not real money. Well, tell that to the US government, tell that to several states, tell that to the world. Zcash is real USD currency. So when you start to get your head around that, and if you've got the stinking thinking that you don't believe that, have a checkup from the neck up and get rid of your stinking thinking and understand that all money is a means of exchange, whether it's US dollar, which is no longer the US dollar, hasn't been since 1971. It's been a Federal Reserve note. Keyword note. A note is a promise to pay. All right? So we can turn our Zcash into a promise to pay as well. And that's pretty darn exciting. And we're going to share with you how to do that this evening. We already have one company that's been set up for Zcash Chips Exchange to USD Bank Deposit Funds. And I'm going to share the name of that company with you this evening. We have another one that will be ready for the first of the new year. And the beautiful part is that we don't even need to do the trade platform anymore We just need to involve financial institutions and some attorneys, and you can actually use the promissory note created by using your Zcash as direct payment by law in 60 countries. Now, if that don't light your fire, your wood's wet. You have the best opportunity here on planet Earth, and if you won't support it, I'll shut it down, because quite frankly, I got plenty of things that I'm going to be doing in 2015 with all the wealth that I have. I just want to share the wealth with you and teach you how to use the wealth and then pay it forward to teach others. So please consider coming back to work. Contact me via Skype. Say, I'm ready to get to work, and let's get to work, and let's rebuild this beautiful Myfuelclub from the challenges that we've had this past year with the banks not fulfilling their contracts. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't the Internet Catalogs Club fault. It was the bankers providing defaults on contracts. And so now that we've found a way around that, we don't need them anymore. And the law is on our side. So please reconsider, because I want to see this thing flourish worldwide. So you get a chance to do an upgrade today, and I'm going to show you that. You go to the Tools section, and you don't have to click on any of these links below. Just click right on Tools, and it'll open up, and you'll see Upgrade your Myfuelclub membership using Zcash. So you don't have to come out of pocket with any USD or Australian dollar or euro or anything like that. You can use your existing Zcash that you've received, and this is for existing Myfuelclub members only. So if you have the Zcash that you've been given, the 500,000 Zcash worth 1 million USD bank deposit funds, you can go ahead and follow this easy plan. You'll either copy and paste this, or I do have a link down the bottom here that you can click on the link and download the Word document. And you just go ahead and complete this, send it to me at the email address in the Contact Us page. And we'll go ahead and submit it to the Internet Catalog Club. And what we're going to do is ask them, this is my formal request to upgrade my Myfuelclub membership. And you may have a platinum, you may have a silver, you may have a novice, an apprentice. Doesn't matter what you have, just put it in there and what you paid for it. All right. So that way we know what the amount is that you started with, because an upgrade is merely the difference. And I wish to upgrade to enter into a corporate platinum. My personal opinion is, if you're going to get serious about this, that's where you need to be. Don't you want to earn another couple of 100,000 this coming year on top of the million you've already got? Makes sense to earn more. You can never have enough money. So you'll put in whatever membership you want to upgrade to. You say, well, I can't sponsor anybody. I'm just happy to fulfill my existing membership requirements and do the 3 that I needed. I sponsored 1. I got 2 more to do, and then I've fulfilled my obligation. Well, that would be nice to do. Quite frankly, I've given you more than what you've ever expected. All I'd ask you to do is to fill what you'd already obligated yourself to do with the membership that you'd purchased in the first place. And also, when you can, submit your fuel receipts, because obviously we've paid you for all of your fuel membership, whether you sponsored it or not. We just want you to fulfill your side of the bargain. I think that's what's obligated from both sides. All right, so then valued at, and so it's 5,500. You paid 150. You'll put the difference in there, and so whatever the difference works out to, if it's 5,000, then what you're going to do is divide that by 2. So you're going to put 2,500 Zcash. That's what you're going to want to transfer. I will be using Zcash in the amount of 2,500. Please withdraw from your ICC number, your MFC ICC number, and deposit to Myfuelclub's ICC number as payment for full for this upgrade. Please also add to my account 25% of the amount of the upgrade in chips. So out of that, you're going to receive 25% of the value of the upgrade, which in this particular case would be based on 5,000. So what are you going to get on 5,000 in chips times 0.25? Gives you 1,250 chips. That's another $1,250 you just have available to be exchanged. So then you're going to put in your Myfuelclub name, your username, your email, and your Skype, and you'll put your name in here. I, Gary Holmes, have authorized this transaction to take place. You'll sign your name, the date, put in the year, because this can obviously carry over into 2015, and then you'll scan it and you'll email it to the email that you'll find in the Contact Us section, which is myfuelclub2013@gmail.com. That's how simple it is. And you'll get your upgrade. You'll be obligated, obviously, to fulfill your membership requirements for sponsoring. If you do upgrade to the corporate platinum, and if you do sponsor 3 people in your first month, which would be January, then I will make sure that you get an extra 100,000 BVK. So that's on top of the 100,000 you're going to be able to get on a monthly basis. When we look at the membership, you'll see here that a corporate platinum gives you 8,333.34. If you sponsor 3 people this month, you're qualified for the 8,333. You'll get that in Zcash, so half of that, 4,000, whatever it works out to, in Zcash. And if you're actually working, the beautiful part is that in the new year, first quarter, for anybody who comes back and starts sponsoring people and doing the work that's required, you'll be able to start to exchange the basic bonuses, the sponsorship bonuses for USD bank deposit funds. And so I will be doing that out of my own personal pocket. And then we have a group in Australia, and we have a group in Norway that are actively working towards building a Zcash chips exchange to USD facility. And we also have the first one that's in existence that I'll be using as a work center leader to be able to provide you with the basics of your exchange for the people you've sponsored up to this point. And you'll also be able to start getting your Fuel Club exchanges as well, provided you're doing your work. This is a work program. This is not an investment. And so you need to be back doing your work. So please come back and start to support this fabulous opportunity that you saw when you get involved. Make it a reality. 2015 is our year. We have everything in place to make it happen, except for you. We just need you back, committed to doing what you said you'd do in the first place, and that's to sponsor the people for your membership. Now, if you've already done that, great. Then you'll be able to be exchanging that. Any amount over that, you're going to have to start doing additional work within the Internet Catalog Club to claim that $1 million. So just know that this is going to continually require work on your behalf. This is a work program. All right, so when we look at the corporate membership, you can choose the one. If you think you can't sponsor 3 a month and you can only sponsor 1.5 a month, choose a corporate gold membership or a corporate silver, which is 1 a month, and upgrade to that if you're a novice or an apprentice when you first started. And you'll just pay the difference in Zcash. So you have all of these options. So you've got from now until the new year. I'd like to see you back to work before then, but I know we're at the festive season. Christmas is right around the corner, and New Year's is about to happen. So you may just say, well, I'm going to spend time with my family, and I'm going to get my game plan together for the new year, and that's great too. Always happy to support whatever you decide to do. Just do something, all right? Now, in the Zcash and Chips Exchange link, you can take a look at all of the information here that's required of you to participate and understand, quite frankly, the power of where we're at. So if you haven't read this, spend some time reading it, and you'll certainly benefit in understanding how powerful you are as a Myfuelclub member and the leadership that you can provide in this new 2015. Amazing things are going to happen. We're going to see a global currency reset, hopefully by the end of this month, if not sooner. Some are saying Thursday or Friday or this weekend, but Iraq is saying that they're going to definitely be ready for the first of the year. It means gold-backed currencies under Basel III compliance. So this is all going to be putting you in a powerful position to show people now how not to be in debt. Remember, the borrower is always servant to the lender. And by becoming involved in Myfuelclub and the Internet Catalog Club, there is no reason for any member to ever experience debt ever again. And you can always get yourself out of debt through the Internet Catalog Club protocols. And many of you are now set, obviously, with a $1 million capability. And if you set up your own exchange facility, you could actually have $2 million from the rewards of your efforts and the gift that I've given you. Now, how do we do all that? Well, there's a link in chips-corner.com. Become a partner with House Services. And so this is a limited opportunity. We're not going to be keeping this going forever, but we have 2 already set up and raring to go. And we'll see one of them that's capable of being named this evening. But the idea is to understand what digital currencies are. And so there's great information here, 4 links, and there's a lot more that I can provide if you just don't believe digital currency is real. It is as real as a heart attack. Now, the important thing to understand is that out of all the digital currencies on this planet, our digital currency through the Internet Catalog Club is the most powerful and proven digital currency in the world. Zcash and chips were the subject of a 6-year litigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, wherein the agency sought to have these ruled to be securities. And evidence of value and use over many years was presented to the U.S. federal court in Houston, Texas, by that agency. This litigation ended with a consent decree and final judgment wherein neither party prevailed and no guilt was assigned. It was a draw. That's amazing. You just don't win against the Securities and Exchange Commission because they out-lawyer you and put you out of business. But they couldn't put the Internet Catalog Club out of business. These guys are a lot smarter than the SEC could ever hope to be. So we're dealing with genius, pure genius, and that's what you're seeing unfold right before your very eyes. The bankers tried to stop us. Governments have tried to stop us, and that's never occurred. And here we are set to go into 2015, offering Myfuelclub and the Internet Catalog Club to the world with some awesome protocols that will get everybody who participates out of debt. Now, this did not establish a precedent, but it did provide full information regarding Zcash and chips without dissent by any party to the court. So what we presented, that Zcash has a value pegged at $2 USD since 1996, folks. So we're one of the oldest, if not the oldest, digital currency on the planet. And chips valued at $1 since 1999. Now, chips are like air miles. They are earned. Zcash was once available to be transacted to be purchased, but that can't happen anymore. It has to be earned because it's now classed by the government as a currency. So the rules had to change, and we've had to change with them. So these values may be confirmed by reviewing the NTC procurement website and take a look at that. Both in the United States and around the world over many years since, Zcash and chips have been involved in business transactions measuring in the billions, folks. We've purchased oil fields, gold, properties, all kinds of projects have been purchased with Zcash. And based on the rulings and legislation regarding digital currencies and on the long and successful use of Zcash and chips in business transactions, House Services, Inc. accepts and uses Zcash chips as USD lawful USA currency. Now, House Services, Inc. is just one of the many companies that are involved in the Internet Catalog Club. Now, the Internet Catalog Club is a social network of both private individuals, families, and business entities. The Business Cannons Business Group obviously is a group of businesses like House Services, like Bright Star Holdings International, Inc., Gracia Abundante, all of these companies that have joined together in order to make the Internet Catalog Club a full-fledged alternative economy to the debt money system that's entrapped us all. We are all about abundance, and it's all in place, and all you have to do is learn to participate. Now, Uniform Advertising Promissory Notes, an acronym WAPN, that's how it's pronounced, UAPN, and the International Bills of Exchange, IBO, on March 31st, 2011, as per case number CV 2008-08-5436 at Summit County, Ohio Court of Common Pleas, a WAPN and International Bill of Exchange issued in the format of what is now known as a DF1 WAPN and IBO, or DF1 documentary funds. A major bank, the defendant, agreed to accept these as payoff for loans by the plaintiff. So if somebody had their mortgage paid off, case can be looked up. It's all there for you. Since that time, DF1 documentary funds have been used extensively as currency in transactions between parties around the world. A sample of a DF1 can be seen at that link. Based on the above, Howes accepts the use of DF1 documentary funds as USD, lawful USA currency. Howes also accepts DF2s and DF3s, and you can go look up those examples. And so DF1s, 2s, and 3s are issued following USA Uniform Commercial Code and UN resolutions, and are guaranteed by the private bank FIDES. So everything we do is legal, lawful, ethical, and most importantly, very, very profitable. FIDES holds and controls many billions of USD in value in deposit in a major worldwide private banking system. This is all verifiable by your attorney, attorney to attorney. Now, Howes partners. Any member of the Internet Catalog Club may apply to become a Howes partner. That's you. If you're involved as a member of Myfuelclub, you are now a member of the Internet Catalog Club. You were given a membership, of which, again, you can pay for through the use of Zcash. So pay us the $1,000 you owe us. That's 500 Zcash. Now, to qualify as a member, you must find an attorney that is willing to serve as a director and officer of a new corporation or other legal entity, corporation to be approved by Howes, that the attorney will create in a jurisdiction in which the attorney can legally practice law. So as I said, we have a group in Australia that are working towards this end. We have a group in Norway that are working towards this end. And I'm hopeful that next week we'll be meeting with an attorney with a group out of Canada, Calgary, Alberta, that will also pursue setting up this particular operation. Now, the corporation created by the attorney will have 5 shareholders. That is, after creation, 5 parties will each provide equal value assets in exchange for shares of the corporation. The assets provided shall be owned by the corporation. The 5 parties will be Howes receiving 20%, U.S. Profesionales de El Salvador S.A., which is one of the other large entities that's a part of the Business Cannons Business Group. They'll receive 20%. FIDES Bank in Mexico will receive 20%. The attorney was going to be rewarded with 20%, and you, as the member or a group of members banding together, bringing the attorney to the table, will also share in 20%. And this is all accepted by Howes. In exchange for its shares, Howes shall provide a free platinum membership and a free SMR membership in the Internet Catalog Club to the corporation. All right, so you'll have your own ICC membership, but this new entity will have a platinum membership, which provides 100% value in chips for every transaction. And it'll also be able to sponsor people with the SMR membership in the Internet Catalog Club to this corporation, and shall have the Internet Catalog Club register the platinum membership account with 125 million Zcash. That's 250 million USD. Now, in exchange for its shares, USPIS shall provide DF1 documentary funds with the associated WAPN having a value of 250 million USD, with a written commitment by the corporation that DF1 documentary funds shall be collected as per the payment protocol of the Associated International Bill of Exchange. And you can see that on the samples on the links previously shared with you. Also, in exchange for its shares, Fetus shall provide DF3 documentary funds with associated WAPN having a value of 250 million, with written commitment by the corporation that the DF3 documentary funds shall not be collected, but shall be returned to Fetus after being used to obtain a certificate of deposit or a safekeeping receipt that is registered so as to be lodged within the world brokerage system and then being redeemed with profits from non-depletion and non-risk trading. So you can see Fetus is bringing their funds to the table to be put into a CD or SKR. Then a margin line of credit will be created at the financial institution. And the first one is a credit union that's in Texas. And we've got another entity that I don't know much about, but that's, as I said, going to happen before the end of the month. And so it's all coming together. Now, in exchange for the 20% shares, the attorney shall agree to provide and or arrange legal services as may be required by the corporation. So they're going to be on the cuff for $250 million worth of attorney services. Why? Because they're going to earn a lot more than $250 million. Do they have to supply it all up front? No, but their commitment as part of their 20% share is like everybody else, bringing funds to the table. Now, in exchange for 20% of the shares, the member, that's you and me, shall provide a combination of Zcash and a promissory note with values totaling 250 million USD. Now, with the Zcash amount and the promissory note value being negotiated with and accepted by House, the redemption of the promissory note shall also be as negotiated with and accepted by House. So that means that you have right now 500,000 Zcash, and so you're not there at 250 million, are you? But you can start to do some work within the Internet Catalog Club by promoting the LHP program, by promoting the Employee Gold program, advertising privileges through the Walking Billboard advertising campaign. You start promoting all that, and then you can work a deal with Bright Star Work Center, and we can help you get together 250 million. You can also partner with somebody that has the amount of Zcash that's required. And I know several people personally that have at least 125 million Zcash. I personally have that. And so I'd be happy to partner with somebody that has a financial institution and has an attorney that would love to partner with us. And I'll bring my Zcash to the table, you bring your contacts to the table, and you bring your work ethic, and we can negotiate a transaction that suits us all. Now, costs and expenses to create the corporation shall initially be borne by the member, that's you, but shall be reimbursed to the member twofold, 200% from the first profit. So if it costs you $2,000 to set up the corporation, you're going to get $4,000 back. Okay, or you could work a deal with the attorney and say, look, you're going to get a whole pile of money. Let me pay you in Zcash, and you'll double your money, and you'll be able to get double the money out of the first transaction. Business to be transacted. Once the shares are distributed, the shareholders shall meet and designate 5 directors to be on the board of directors of the corporation, with 1 director being designated by each shareholder. So you don't have to take on the directorship. You can appoint somebody to do it for you. In my particular case, I don't want anything to do with it. So if we join forces, and you could be the director, and I can provide the Zcash. The shareholders shall also enact an irrevocable resolution that the board of directors and House shall have veto power over decisions that be made by the board of directors of the corporation, and thus, prior to enactment, all decisions of the board of directors of the corporation must be approved in writing by the board of directors of House, with all such correspondence being electronically acceptable. Now, the reason that this is there is because we don't want any maverick issues to occur where people go and do things that's going to harm what we've got into place. We have a rogue attorney who's trying to destroy us because they don't want us to be successful. We have a financial institution that's trying to destroy us because they don't want us to get people out of debt because they won't be making any more loans in the normal sense of their loan cartel. So we want to be able to see everything in detail and veto. Now, if everybody's on side, there'll be no issues whatsoever. Once formed, the board of directors shall meet and select persons to hold office of the president, vice presidents, but the attorney shall be designated as the legal counsel and as the secretary, and the president of FETUS by name shall be designated as the treasurer. So what better shape can we be in than to have legal counsel within the legal system as the secretary, and a bank president of FETUS being the treasurer? So we're in very good hands putting this corporation together. And my attitude is 1/20th of a pie is better than no pie at all. Although the corporation shall be chartered so as to engage in any legitimate business, its primary focus will be on establishing Zcash and chips exchange facility, functioning as a facilitator. So you can go read all about the description of an exchange facilitator on that link. The corporation shall issue promissory notes signed by empowered officers of the corporation and by the attorney, and with the attorney acting in the capacity of legal counsel and secretary of the corporation, functioning as an officer of the court. Now, since all the assets exchanged for shares qualify as currency assets, the promissory notes shall state that they are backed by currency assets owned and held by the corporation. So let's see, there's going to be FETUS with 250 million, House with 250 million, the member with 250 million. So you can see that we've got almost $1 billion in assets in place in the corporation. The empowered officers shall negotiate with financial institutions for these to be accepting the promissory notes on deposit in exchange for 1-year certificate of deposit or safekeeping receipts that may be annually renewable for 10 years, with the applicable interest at the time of renewal and the registration or registered so that they may be lodged within the world brokerage system. So a QSIP and ISIN number will be registered, and they can be traded with licensed trade brokers on this planet. Now, the trade platform shut down from December 15th through to January 15th. So obviously this new entity that's been created will not start getting profits until January when the trades reopen. They'll also shut down usually for 2 months in the summer, July and August. So there's only really 9 months of trading going on in a 12-month year. Now, the attorney shall work with the legal and compliance officers of the institutions to assure the structure and value of the promissory notes are acceptable. So we can make minor changes to fit the institution wherever they are on the planet. So it doesn't have to be done in the United States. That's why we have members in Australia and in Norway actively involved in putting this together for their European and Australasian membership groups. Thus, the attorney must be well-versed in applicable laws. So if you are going to go and find a divorce attorney who is going to do this, chances are they're not well-versed in the applicable laws. Could they become? Of course they could, but how many would? So when you're choosing your attorney, obviously look for people that have business backgrounds, trust backgrounds, anything that's involved with business. A payment to directors and officers shall be determined by the board of directors, and distributions to shareholders shall be determined by the board of directors. So if you have a group of people, like going to happen in Australia and in Norway, there might be 4 to 6 people involved in putting this together, then obviously they'll have one board member on the board, and then there'll be a distribution to the other 4 or 5 members through that board to the applicable bank accounts that they want. So if you're interested in moving forward with this type of protocol and becoming a partner with House Services, all you need to do is contact me. And it's amazing. You know, we have one of our members in Myfuelclub, also an Internet Catalog Club member that's been around for a long time with really no major successes other than the vision that she believed wholeheartedly that this was going to work. And so she introduced me to some wonderful people in Canada who happen to have a debt, and it's in the millions. And we're going to join forces with her, the organization that has the debt, and this particular organization has an attorney that happens to be a part of that organization. And so we're going to meet with that attorney to see if they'll come on board. So you see, when I suggested that she find an attorney, she said she didn't know anybody. And I said, well, then why don't you go and ask people that you like and trust if they have a trusted attorney? Exactly what she did, had the appointment, went super well. We had about 45-minute conversation, and everybody walked away with warm fuzzies, and we're going to move this forward. Very exciting. So that's what it's all about. It's called Negotiate and Team Build a Corporation that will allow massive amounts of exchange of Zcash through to USD currency. USD currency can therefore be exchanged into all other currencies on the planet. Now, the reason that we can't just go and change Zcash at any normal bank is because the digital currencies are not a party to any bank charter on planet Earth. All banks are chartered banks, and the charter is their rule book. And so when they set up their bank, they basically go to the banking overseers and say, here's what I want to do. This is the kinds of things I want to do: savings, I want to do loans, I want to do investments, I want to do insurance. Whatever they want to do, they've got to get approval for, and then they do a charter, and this is what you're approved to do. Now, you want to take Zcash? You can't do it. It's not in your charter. But the good news is that promissory notes are in the charter. And so when we create this entity, we can create a promissory note. Now, here is an actual sample of the international promissory note set up for Rahino LLC. So this is an actual entity. Obviously, this is the draft, and you're not going to see all the internal workings, but there's going to be an issue date, a maturity date. It's already been done, but this is just a sample. The amount of Zcash, numbers and words. Zcash valued as per the promissory note at twice the amount of the Zcash in numbers and in words. Then a beneficiary, which would be the financial institution that's going to receive this promissory note. And this promissory note is issued in accordance with USA Uniform Commercial Code and with United Nations resolutions. Now, this is very important. I'm going to go into a lot more detail tomorrow on the Internet Catalog Club's boot camp. And so you could participate in that one and either watch it live or see the recording. But UNCITRAL, the convention, is this. And so this is the model of law of an international commercial arbitration. And so when you look at the power of where we're at, there's over 60 countries that are part of the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. So as they acronymed it to UNCITRAL. So here we have Armenia, Australia. We've got basically all the states of Australia participating, Austria, many European, all the Canadian provinces are involved, Chile, China, Hong Kong, Costa Rica, Croatia, Dominican Republic. So I can actually do that here. By law, they have to accept a promissory note. Isn't this powerful? I'm telling you, folks, it's taken a long time to get here, but we are going to be changing this world to a better place. We don't see Iraq in here, but that'll change, I'm sure. But you can start to see that there's Norway. Now, we were actually going to go to Sweden, but obviously Norway is where we need to stay. And so Norway's involved. We've got Russia, we've got South Korea, Singapore, United Kingdom, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, the United States of America, specific states, Texas, obviously we're doing business in Texas, Venezuela, Zambia, Zimbabwe. So there's all kinds of places. You can go and do a Google search of the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, and you can get this list. And so all of these countries, by law, will accept. Now, do they have to? No, they don't have to. Well, by law, they should. And in the United States, we definitely can make it happen. So pretty exciting things are taking place. And so when we go back to the power of this particular document, it's a fabulous promissory note. All right, so this promissory note may be collected by the lawful beneficiary requesting to be registered as the owner of account. And this is an ICC account with the amount of funds listed at the top in Zcash. Zcash is USD, USA lawful currency. Believe it, it's true. Once ownership is thus registered, this promissory note shall be made null and void. So the person who takes the promissory note says, I want to be paid immediately. Okay, we now give you the password for the ICC membership registered account because it's called property. Okay, there's currency in the property. The property is the actual registered account. All right, that's property, and that's what allows it to be a party to uncitral. Property is negotiable anywhere in the world, specifically in those 60 plus countries by law. Okay, so we have property that we're negotiating the promissory note against. Alternatively, this promissory note may be collected by the lawful beneficiary requesting the contract with the issuer for the documentary funds collateralized by USD deposits with financial institutions to be used as the basis for trading to produce profits to be allocated to redeem this promissory note. Once there's redeemed, the promissory note is made null and void. So that's where we go back to our overview here and how this all works. So these two tie together. This is the promissory note format that will be registered and created by the attorney from the partner with house services. And so from there, the promissory note is signed and registered electronically and may be accessed by visiting Rahino Promissory Notes in the Treasure Chest portal of chips-corner.com. You can go see them, but they're password protected. All right, so there's only one up there so far, and it doesn't have the number and password yet, but it will be there. The password for the access of this promissory note shall be provided when requested by lawful beneficiary. Now, the beneficiary here may request to be replaced by a new beneficiary, in which this case the promissory note shall be made null and void, and a new promissory note with the new beneficiary shall be issued. A request for a new beneficiary shall be honored once a beneficiary's transfer fee of $500 US has been paid for the transaction. So there's two ways to look at this. If you'll go and do some research on the legacyassurance.net site, you're going to see a document outlining a story about a hotel. And the hotel story talks about $300 deposit being placed by somebody who wanted to do a review of the hotel. And the hotel manager said, well, you can review my hotel, but I need a $300 deposit in case you steal something or break something. And so he gives the $300 in cash, says, as long as I get it back, I guess okay. It's not going to take long to do the review. I'll get my money back. Well, what happened is the guy ran next door and paid off the caterer with the $300, and that $300 was then moved to the caterer supplier, the grocery store. The grocery store went and paid the doctor for the bills that they had outstanding, and the doctor came back and said, I want my mother-in-law to stay at your hotel, and gave him the $300. Then the guy comes back and picks up his $300. That's what goes on every day of the week with the Federal Reserve note. It's a means of exchange. Now, this promissory note, without having it being transferred from your name to somebody else's name, the beneficiary's name to somebody else's name, it can be transferred many times exactly the same way. It's payment in full, and you don't have to cash in the Zcash. You can just use this as real money. Get your head around this. This is what big business does all day long. Go read Antel Ficchetti's overview on a must-read article. And if you don't know where that is, again, you can look in the legacyassurance.net site or contact me, and I'll give you the link. Now, if you wish to do this, all requests are to be sent for the exchange and have the name changed to your name for $500. Well, you don't even need to do that. But if you had to do that, you wanted to do it, it can be done. All requests must include verifiable telephone number and name of person through who verbal communication confirmation can be made. An electronic copy of this promissory note has the same validity, value, and legal use as a signed original thereof. The applicable law by which the promissory note shall be construed and interpreted is USA law. Why? Because this particular promissory note is under the Uniform Commercial Code, and so therefore it's under USA law. In the event there arises conflicts requiring judicial resolution, the conflict shall be resolved within the legal system of the United States District Court, Southern District of Texas, without further recourse. Now, I got to tell you, that's where we had several cases, one involving the SEC with us, and one involving Bitcoin. And they ruled in favor of Bitcoin, and they ruled in favor of us. So it's a pretty powerful jurisdiction to be adjudicating a resolution. So arbitration as per rules and regulation thereof, or with any conflict requiring resolution to be presented to the court. And the court is going to uphold this document. A party wishing to make use of arbitration shall be required to arrange for such judicial process and take full and sole responsibility for covering all expenses related thereto. So if you want to stir up the mud and think you can do something different with this promissory note, you're going to have to pay. And if the arbitration rules in favor of the party initiating the mentioned arbitration, all the expenses of the arbitration process will then be reimbursed by the defaulting party. Decision by arbitration shall be binding on all parties related hereto and shall be presentable in any court of competent jurisdiction for enforcement anywhere in the world, folks. And by affixing their signature hereto, the Secretary, Legal Officer, and the Treasurer of Regino LLC, with full legal and corporate responsibility, attest to the veracity of all information published in the body of this promissory note. So you've got an officer of the court, and you've got the president of a bank as the treasurer, attesting the validity and veracity of all information here signed, witnessed. Amazing, amazing. They've even got a corporate seal, but you don't feed it fish. So that's how powerful you are in a position, folks, as members of Myfuelclub and of the Internet Catalog Club. We are going to change the world. With you, with me, without you, without me, it's going to happen. I can assure you of that. I prefer to be a part of it, and I hope you will too. Actively participating in becoming an active member of Myfuelclub. Wet your teeth with involving people in Myfuelclub, then develop your skill sets in the Internet Catalog Club. Take advantage of getting some basic bonus reimbursement in trading your Zcash in for USD, and show people that you've had it done in the new year, and that just empowers you to do even more. And maybe you'll have an attorney, maybe you'll have a financial institution that will happily participate. And it may be not somebody that you know. It may be somebody that you know knows those people. Remember the 6 degrees of separation. So you're just a few people away from the people you need to put one of these things together for you and your group. And let's have lots of these exchange facilities while they're still available. Why? Because then we can all move our Zcash and chips quicker, faster, better when we have many more. We won't have to wait in line for exchanges to occur. So super, super duper powerful information for you to participate in. So My suggestion to you is to study this information from the webinar, request your upgrade. I would go for the corporate platinum. I'd get out there and find 3 people a month who will join for at least $150. And then they get on the educational journey and they can start to learn how to use all of this information and build your organization. And let's really see Myfuelclub grow for 2015. I know we're at a time where family is going to be getting together. It's the festive season, and there won't be an awful lot of activity, and I'm prepared for that. But I would like you to actively participate in this new year. And if you don't, I hate to say it, but it's your loss. We're going to do it without you, and maybe you'll come back when you see the results from all the other people. You're always welcome. Workers are always wanted, always needed. To make this world a better place, we've all got to put our shoulder to the wheel. There's been an awful lot happened since 1971 when the Federal Reserve note destroyed the world through this fiat petrodollar. Well, that's coming to an end, folks, very, very quickly. And you need to be prepared. You need to have alternative currencies that will maintain their value. And the Zcash is the only currency that doubles its value every time you use it, because every time you use it, you get the equivalent value of what you just spent in chips. So I got to tell you, I'm super excited where we're headed. I'd love for you to come back and work with us and support us. And so we'll start our new series of new member overviews in January, probably not the first week of January, but the second week of January. We'll have our first Wednesday evening introductory overview where you can bring brand new people to. This will be up in the training section of the website, so watch for it there. It'll be there tomorrow. And I think I've covered just about everything I want to cover today. Let me just see what I've got here. Okay, yeah, we've got all the exchange options. We've covered that. We've got the World Global Network opportunity, super opportunity. Check that out. They still haven't got their website up, so you can still participate for $49 if you're in the United States, and you can get involved for $2.99 and get upgraded when the website's up for the $5.99 master program. And so wearable computers, wave of the future. Can't wait till I get mine in the new year. And it's just going to make my business that much easier to attract people and bring them into World Global Network, bring them into Myfuelclub, bring them into ICC. They all work in harmony. So check out the December promotion. And for each person that you can bring on board who start with the corporate platinum, they'll actually get what you got, which is 500,000 Zcash, worth $1 million. So I know it's winding down, and we do have limited 15 packages, but we'd certainly love for you to be contacting people now that we have the first exchange system in play. We know that you'll be able to do your exchanges, so just take action and share this great information so they can capture $1 million for starting a business for $5,500. What an awesome opportunity. So great success. Have a great holiday season. Study hard, play hard, love your family, and love your God. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great 2015. God bless you all. We'll see you in the new year. In the meantime, contact me via Skype, and let's get your own personal game plan set up for this new year. Great success in all that you do in building this world for a better place for all.